My name's Gail and I live in Stroud in Gloucestershire in the UK, and it's quite a hilly place, and I really wanted to figure out how to cycle with my family, and as the children grew up, how best to let the cycling grow with them. So I wanted to share what I learned, because I found that on the internet I couldn't find out the best solution for my family. So the first thing to say is that I decided to get an electric bike after much research, and I've actually got a Whisper. I'm not especially recommending that, but Atmosphere Bikes in Bristol did say it's the best bike at the moment. This is 2011 for the strength of the motor and the battery. So it's got a lot of power. Now, if I had a baby and this electric bike, the first thing I'd do obviously is to put a seat on the pannier rack to enable carrying of a child aged over 3 or 6 months when the baby's able to hold their head up high. And then when the second child comes along, the next option is to put the second child on that seat and to put the first one here on a crossbar seat. The thing to bear in mind though with electric bikes is that some of the tubing and sizes are not necessarily standard. So the things that are available in kit form might not fit with your electric bike. I'm not recommending particular products, but I think that is a solution that could work. You're just going to have to make sure your bike and your product are going to work together. So what that would mean is that you could have a toddler on the crossbar and a baby on the back, and so that would be your solution for when your children are, say, 6 months and 2 or 3. The next thing I've got is this tandem tag-along from Adams, which is great. And at the moment, my 5-year-old sits here and he's able to pedal, but my 3-year-old can't quite reach the pedals. And so what we've done is to put this foot holder here for him and this seat here, and they came from 2 different kits, and we also took the pedals off the wheels, and this is working fine. You do have a harness to hold him in. He's been on here since he was 2.5, and that's worked really well for us. So the reason why the electric's really effective with the tandem tag-along, there's a few things. One is when you're setting off with all this weight on the back, you can pull the throttle and it gives you a starting boost to get you moving, and that's really helpful. I have to say it's quite scary when you first try. We spent a lot of time in this park going round and round and getting used to it, and every time your confidence grows. So I'd really encourage people who are not confident cyclists to have a go, and you will get there after a few trips. Now, one of the things about electric bikes is that in the Whisper's case and in many other cases, this bit's wider, so it's not standard sizes again. And the trailer bike type of setup that you get is only of a certain length. One of the modifications we had to do was to hacksaw off the pannier rack in order to allow this bit of the bike to swing, because that's a key feature of a trailer bike setup. And that was okay. It took us quite a long time to get this piece on very strongly, just make sure that you've got that nice and tight. With the panniers, I was able to go on a camping trip with one of the boys. I used a 2-person tent was tied onto here, and we got our camping gear in there. I could have taken both boys, but I did use this seat for the roll mats. It could have gone on that side. So we're actually really able to use this as an effective vehicle. So what I've described so far would take your children up to around age 7. That's about the time they need to come off the trailer bike. And that's a good set of solutions over the ages as they're growing up. And I guess what I'm thinking about doing next is that the older child would then have his own bike, possibly using a trailer bike on his own bike with Dad's bike, and the smaller child would either just stay on this tandem, or I would get a trailer bike in that circumstance as well for his smaller bike. And then we could start to decouple as the children get confident with the roads and depending on the kinds of roads that we're on.